Can he pitch them deep into this ball game and keep it close? Well, he comes in and gets the strikeout of Karros to end the inning.
Jersey Baseball Show, welcome to a very special edition. We've got a junior at West Point, Robbie Buecker, one of our great players to go through Mercer County in recent years, Notre Dame High School alum. Welcome, Robbie, and thanks for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday season to you. I know we're filming right before Thanksgiving. It'll show, we'll air right afterwards, but very special holiday for you, and hope you enjoy some time going home to see everybody.
Yep, looking forward to it.
For sure. So let's get right into it. And you're in your third year at West Point right now. Let's start with it. It's such an interesting college decision for a lot of people that don't fully get it. But, take us through the process of, first of all, when you really knew that you wanted to go in that direction. As far as going to an academy school, then the process of what you had to do to get there. And we'll start with that.
Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't really always a thing that I seriously considered, I'd say, until probably my sophomore year of high school. That fall, Coach Foster reached out to me after he played down in Fort Myers and kind of piqued my interest a little bit. And I talked to my parents about it, and, we went up to a visit, and, by the next spring, it was really something that I wanted to pursue. I ended up taking a visit to Army that spring, and then back to Navy later in the spring. And it really came down to those two, I think, by the end of it. And, from the first time that I stepped foot here, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was surrounded by people that are very similar to me. And then, just everything further than the baseball program, the school, the military afterwards, I knew that it's what I wanted to do. And I was fortunate enough that I had baseball to kind of help me out a little bit getting in, because I'm definitely not, the smartest guy here. But, pretty much from the time that I stepped foot here, I knew it's what I wanted to do. So.
You might be one of the more modest ones for saying that, though. You weren't bottom of the barrel at Notre Dame by any stretch. So, what is the process that gets you in there? Because again, it maybe baseball helps a little bit, but not really that much in the big picture. What is involved as far as you've got to get recommendations, you've got to be sponsored, things like that.
Yeah, I probably oversimplified the whole baseball thing, but
yeah.
It's pretty similar on some ends to applying to other schools. You send your test scores, your transcripts, you fill out personal statements, but then it kind of gets off the rails a little bit. You got to get a nomination from your congressman or senator. You have to get a medical exam. You have to meet with they're called field force representatives, and then once all that goes through, they kind of make their decision. And some people find out pretty late. I had teammates here that didn't find out they were in until April, May of their senior year of high school. So it's kind of, you wait a little bit for some people.
But you were earlier, right? If I recall, you knew, I would say, earlier in the process before the new year of your senior year, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was pretty lucky that I committed pretty early. I think it was the early summer after my sophomore year. So I was ready to get the process going pretty much as soon as it opened up for everyone. And I was able to make sure that was kind of set in stone pretty early.
Yeah. Now, what was it? I'm sure it came down, as you said, between Army and Navy. And what was it that was the difference maker?
It really came down to like they were the first people to reach out, and
Sure.
Coach Foster was awesome, and the rest of the guys that recruited me, Coach King, he's at Dayton now. They were great along the way. So.
Yep. You mentioned two great coaches there. Coach Foster is one of the best. It's pretty cool to play for somebody like that, and my hunch is people don't understand how good baseball is at Army.
Absolutely. If anyone's been following college baseball, it's pretty easy to see that we've been building something pretty special here the past couple of years. When he first got there, it really wasn't a baseball school at all for a couple of years, and then it took some growing, and we've been to 3 regionals in a row, won the conference 3 years in a row, and it's not an easy thing to do in any conference. So you can find great baseball in the Northeast, and Army is definitely one of those places.
Yep, they've been one of kind of a handful of schools that have really sort of proven that beyond the conference level, recent years, and not even necessarily going to a regional and winning, but going and competing with some of the best. Whether it was Texas Tech last year, or some of the NJIT winning a game in regionals last year, Fairfield winning a game in regionals last year. So teams from the area have done well lately. It's not it's not going to be what it is in other places, but I would say there's a toughness here still up here that I
Absolutely.
think so one thing about academy life is, and we're going back a few years, but your summer between senior year of high school, freshman year of college wasn't the same as most people's, I guess, right?
No. I was lucky. I had about a month between graduation and then showing up. It's called R Day, reception day, here at school.
Where July 1st or something like that, or close to it?
Yeah. Mine was on July 1st. I know like last year was like July 3rd. But I was pretty lucky that I got to spend some time with my friends, and I played Legion ball for a little bit. And that was great over in Lawrence. And then you show up for 6 weeks. And it's, physically it's really not that bad. If I had to, tell people how it really is, it's just, being away from everyone for 6 weeks, and not having your phone, and, it's more mentally challenging, I think, than physically challenging. But
yeah, I think I'm in a group of people who can go without their phone for like 6 minutes, 6 weeks. I think there's more. That group is growing, I think, by the day. Yeah. That was like your introduction, quote unquote, week that most people have, right? It's not quite the same, but one of the things that is interesting to me, and I guess now you're heading in, or now you're in your 3rd year, and you're, I guess, an upperclassman now, but kind of the daily life, right? We've done a bunch of day in the lives of different schools in New Jersey. I get the feeling yours is a little bit different. Why don't you take us through the typical day in the life West Point, and give everybody kind of an understanding, like right from wake up call. What time are we talking about here?
So this morning, today is what we call a modified day. They end class at 12:30, so we had a formation at 5:45 this morning. So I was up this morning at 5:30. But normal days, I'm up at 6:30. We got formation, just basically just taking accountability of everybody at 6:45. Get some breakfast after that. Class starts for me every day at 7:30. Class in some regard, it's like going back to high school. You pretty much go to class from 7:30 to 3 o'clock every day, with lunch in between. So I guess it's kind of good from that regard that it's pretty normal. But I have 4 classes every day. Cool thing about my schedule this year is that they're called DPE classes, Department of Physical Education. Like freshman year, you take boxing, military movement. Last year I took survival swim. This year I'm in combatives right now, which is like combat grappling. So I got that during the day. My class ends for me every day at 3:00. Go right from there to practice at 3:30. And then in season, we're usually scrimmaging 4 days a week. In the fall, we're out of season now, so we're in like the 8-hour weeks. So it really depends. If it's nice out, we'll get to throw on the field. If it's not, it's called Foley Indoor Athletic Center, big indoor football field that we're real lucky to have here. We'll head up there at night and then bang out some homework and do it all again the next day. So you get into a nice little rhythm.
I was going to say, you like getting into that routine pretty quickly? I know it probably was challenging at the beginning so much, and it still is a lot, but you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Like, I was talking to my parents a couple weeks ago. I probably had a chance to come home for a little bit, but I said, like, I'm in a nice little rhythm here. You don't really want to break it. I think a lot of people here are in that same boat where, you get into a nice little roll and you just kind of ride it until break. It's kind of what I did this fall.
You mentioned earlier that one of the things that you noticed was a lot of guys kind of similar mentality that you have, and that was one of the things that was appealing to you. What would you describe that as? I mean, what do you see like you got to be successful at an academy school?
You see a lot of people that are pretty driven. Not just academically or militarily or athletically, just in general. You're not surrounded by the kind of people that, have trouble, getting to class or getting to practice. You don't really have that here, really. Someone misses a class because they, forgot to set their alarm, not because they're bumming out on class. So just those kinds of people that, they really take ownership of what they do. That's been great. I mean, I think that's what makes the culture on our team so special is that we have, 35 guys that are exactly like that. Mm-hmm. Probably not the 35 most talented or 35 most physically gifted, but, we have 35 like tough kids on the team. And I think that really has brought us a long way.
Is that where it helps? You guys that really everybody's got that mentality of, you can't be successful without being able to support each other, kind of fully and commit to each other fully. And that kind of 35 guys, one heartbeat that other teams may, and I'm not saying there's never any, drama or personality conflicts. It can't. I mean, 35 male athletes, there's going to be competitors, but the ability to kind of put that aside and really unite as a team in everything you're doing, right? That's got to be like one kind of special sauce that the academy schools have that the bigger, schools that might be able to recruit a wider group doesn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just going off what you said about, some competing personalities, guys here, they have no problem holding each other accountable. And, at the end of the day, it's, it's water under the bridge, and it goes the same way for the coaching staff. And it's not a, sunshine and rainbows all the time program. Like coach gets on our ass, and guys aren't afraid to, get after it with each other and compete. And, I think again, like guys are tough enough that they don't take it personally. Whenever that happens, everyone knows it's because, people are holding each other accountable.
It's got to be, because you're also fighting for the bigger cause. I mean, if you do that if you don't have the ability to do that in an actual battle, the consequences are a lot higher. Mm-hmm. So that ability is going to carry over to sports, I'm sure, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously it's caught on a bit in the family, and we'll have younger brother on in our month of Bucher a little closer to Christmas. Um, but when you go, Brendan, and we should say your brother Brendan, who's a junior at Notre Dame now, is going to VMI in a couple of years. Does he ever ask you for like some of that stuff that you've learned ahead of time? Teach him some moves, things like that.
We talk about it. He's very independent, and I'm super proud of him.
Yeah.
It was one of the like happier days of my life, like learning that he's going off to college. It's probably pretty unbelievable for me, actually. I told my friends here, like, I think it's crazier that he's a junior in high school than I'm a junior in college. But yeah, I mean, we talk about it, and he definitely like reached out to me. Must have been like mid-October, after he visited down there, and kind of asked for my take on it, and I gave him my 2 cents, and I'm really looking forward to supporting him there, and seeing what he does, because it's a great opportunity for him.
And neither one of you are the biggest, right? I mean, you're talking about, if we're being nice, 5'9", I guess, right?
That's very nice.
Yeah, well, baseball height. Although I guess Army is one of the schools that wouldn't lie and put baseball height. But you've always thrown hard, right? I mean, that was something at a young age that you were just kind of gifted with, or I mean, what's the?
Yeah. I mean, I always had a pretty good arm. Freshman year of high school, I threw probably 80 miles per hour. My sophomore year, I was probably mid 80s, and I made a pretty big jump going into my junior year that I think helped me a lot. And then by the time I got up here to school, I really got more physical. I think that's the biggest thing, and my game that changed. My first weigh-in here, I was 150 pounds. Strength coach here, in not a very nice way, said you better start eating, and I did. And I really, not to say I didn't take the weight room seriously in high school, but I really started to put the pieces together, and I was able to not only throw a little harder my freshman and sophomore years here, I was able to sustain that for longer, and
Yeah,
definitely changed how I threw.
and I think you're right, first of all, but I think you're right in that high school serious and D1 college serious are two entirely different things, right?
Yep.
You are how much now? What do you weigh now?
Like 175.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's not 25 pounds of like when I put on 25 pounds. It's 25 pounds of legit weight. And what are you topping out at now, and what are you able to maintain into as a starter into late innings?
Yeah, right now I'm like 88 to 91. And then into the late innings, I was pretty good about holding that up. I was probably 86 to 88 last year when I'd go, 5, 6, 7, 8 innings. So that's better.
Yeah, and it's you've also been one to kind of like messing with hitters' timings with your motion too.
Yeah.
How did that start? And now is it just you kind of like perfect it a little bit and really mess with everybody's head?
Yeah. So we played a travel tournament, like the World Series tournament. I was lucky enough. The travel team I played for was pretty legit. We were down at that tournament in Atlanta. We played the Banditos, and they had a pitcher. He's at the University of Texas now. His name was Sammy Faltine, and we faced him, and he was big about getting the ball, getting on the rubber, and throwing. And I remember, like, as a hitter, how much it pissed me off. And he had my number that day, and I wondered, like, wow, like that was really uncomfortable. Maybe I should try that. And I did, and it wasn't really like I don't know what. It was just being quick. Like, I didn't like to waste time. I'd like to just get on the rubber and throw. And it was never meant to be like tricking people or like surprising people. They were always in the box, and yeah, they were always in the box and they were ready to go, and so was I. So I know it kind of, I don't know, some people like in college too, kids are better about it. They get in the box and they're ready to go, so it speeds up
Yeah,
the pace of the game. But in high school, you had kids that tried to take their time and do all this, and they get pretty upset about it. But in college now, I mean, speeds up the game,
fielders got to
gets
like
me in a
it.
nice rhythm.
Yeah, I was gonna say fielders got to love it, right?
Yeah, yeah, they definitely do. And um, a lot of guys on our team are the same way, so it's been good for the flow of the game and the pace of everything, and I think it helps a lot.
Sure. Now, what's the obviously this year, next year, and you graduate? What's the plan that at this point in the journey look for you after graduation?
Oh man, so the baseline, everyone has to serve 5 years active
Right.
duty after graduating, and you have a
Unless you're
choice of
unless you're 6'5", 300, and play football and go right to the NFL, right? And even
yeah,
then it's modified, but
yep.
you're not. So you've got the 5 years coming.
Yep. We actually have a couple guys playing pro ball now that are getting it waived. So maybe I just got to throw a little harder and put up some better numbers, and maybe I'll have that in my future. But right now it's looking like I'm going to do 5 years, maybe a little more. You get to choose one of 17 branches to do. So I'm really not entirely sure what I want to do militarily, but if I had to pick today, I'd probably say field artillery or infantry are my top two right now. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But, it's interesting now going through the whole branching process to,
Yeah.
it gets pretty real. Not to say you're not constantly surrounded by the military, every day when you're here, but to have to start to learn about what the different branches are and, where the different posts are, and the organization of the operational army, and where you fit into that, I think, it really starts to get pretty serious. Like, all right, it's what I'm doing after school, and this is what I'm going to be a part of. So,
Career aspirations beyond that, or what's the ultimate plan in your mind?
I'm not really sure yet. I'm really, because you
Neither
talk to
am I,
people
and
here. Yeah.
I'm pushing 50. It's okay.
Yeah, you talk to people here, and they say, I wanted to do 5 and out, and get into whatever, and then you see them, they've been in the Army for 20 years. You say,
Yeah.
sir, that wasn't a very, we weren't very committed to that, and they say, like, I fell in love with it, and it's what people end up doing here, I think, and they find that the Army is what they want to do for a long time. So, we'll see.
Robbie Buecker, our guest today, West Point Army, third year baseball team member, one of the starters last year on the Patriot League champions, got to pitch in the NCAA tournament against UCLA. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was surreal. Because the tournament itself, it's a first class event, and I don't think it gets enough coverage, honestly, for as good as an event as it is, from the regionals to the super regionals to Omaha. It's unbelievable. And our run in the Patriot League was awesome, because we were pretty bad to start the season. We were 3-11 in our first 14 games, and we got hot at the right time, and to be a part of that was something real special. And I think it speaks to the other guys on the team too, how we kept plugging away and came away with a big win. And as far as the regionals go, I don't want to say it's a once in a lifetime thing, because I think
Hopefully not.
I think we got 2 more in the bag while I'm here.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can pull those out and string together a couple wins and see what happens. But it's a surreal experience. Because I remember going to we went to a regional at UVA, me and my dad and my brother, when I was probably in 4th or 5th grade, and just thinking like how cool that was. And then 10 years later to be a part of the the guys in the field, it was awesome.
One last question. We'll let you go do school things.
Yeah.
Got to talk about Army-Navy football, right? I mean, that's such a huge part of campus life, and that's coming up soon. And, I know you went to a couple of games before you were involved in them, but what's it like on the inside, that whole Army-Navy week, and what's that experience like? And then, being in the game as one of the students that going to one of the schools versus me, for instance.
I think it's just as awesome whether you're, wearing the long O, sitting in the cadet section, or whether you're, in the nosebleeds watching everything from afar. It's, it really is the greatest rivalry in sports. And, that whole week here leading up to it, everyone's thinking about it, everyone's talking about it. And, the whole weekend, really is a whole weekend affair. You get guys from the team, they'll get like a house. When it was in Philly, just hang out with each other for the whole weekend, go to the game. It's in the Meadowlands now, so we're still trying to solid up some plans, but it's great. And then the game itself, just being there and being a part of it, it sounds cliche, but it really does. Like, you feel like pretty special feeling inside. Just knowing that, you're a part of something that's been going on for so long. It's awesome. And then obviously game predictions. I think Army's going to win, obviously, but if I had to pick a score, Army-Navy Service Academy unders, very, very popular the past couple of years. So I'm going to go with a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be, I'm going to say 24-10.
Okay.
Army win.
I go 17. No, you're right. It's probably be a little more than 17, but they always are low-scoring because they know what they know what they have to defend. They're the only teams really prepared to defend it, and certainly a lot of mutual respect and good hard-nosed football, and we're always excited for that. And go Army beat Navy this year, right?
Absolutely.
At least for the next couple.
Yep.
Robbie, thank you. We are super proud of you and what you're doing down there. And obviously best of luck this year, next year, and beyond. And get some viewers. We got to beat baby brother, right?
We'll see. We'll see. My money's on him.
Yeah, we know he's going to do better, but we don't want to tell. Robbie Buecker's our guest, West Point, again, junior. And thank you for your time today. Good luck on your finishing out this semester, and we'll see everyone next time on Jersey Baseball Show.
Thank you very much.